Trump didn't post on X about skipping a press briefing. Instead, he slipped Pam Bondi a confidential dossier in a private meeting, and what she discovered sent chaos rippling before dawn even broke. It was just after midnight, an hour when most folks are dreaming, when even the news cycle hushes. But down in Palm Beach, Mar-a-Lago's lights glowed steady. Pam Bondi rolled up solo. No convoy, no guards, no one tipped off in advance. She tucked her car off to the side, out of sight from the lenses perched near the main entrance. No texts, no heads-up calls. The instructions were blunt. Arrive alone. Inside, the stillness hung heavy, almost stifling. The foyer carried a faint whiff of wax polish, chandeliers casting stark shadows across the marble floor. Two silent figures lingered at the hallway's end, wordless, just gesturing left toward a door plunging underground. Bondi trailed after, her heels clicking once before she yanked them off, clutching them as she descended. The chamber below clashed with the opulence above. No gilded trim, no vases of blooms, just a plain wooden table and three figures already seated. Kash Patel, once a key Pentagon hand. Tom Ellison, a reserved legal brain who tackled FISA overhaul in the shadows. And Lena Drummond, an ex-intelligence operative turned soft-spoken truth-teller. Their gazes locked on her, but no one cracked a grin. Trump strode in last, no fanfare, no greetings, skipping the chair. He hauled a hefty black briefcase, plunked it down, and said, "It's all here. No more watered-down briefs, no more screens." He snapped it open, pulling out two files. The thicker one, over an inch deep, held raw memos, emails, scribbled notes, and logs from the FBI, CIA, and other acronym-laden outfits. The slimmer one carried weightier stakes. A draft decree that, if signed, would mandate citizenship proof for federal voting and yank election funds from non-compliant states. They lied, he growled, voice dipping low. They lied about it all. Crossfire Hurricane was a sham. The dossier a farce, and Schiff knew. He fixed Bondi with a stare. They thought it'd stay hidden, blow it wide open. Bondi cracked the first folder, leafing deliberately through pages, dates aligning with her worst suspicions. October 2016, November 2017, even into 2019. Internal exchanges confirmed the Steele dossier was unchecked. Some emails cautioned agents against flagging issues, since brass favored a seamless story. "I want this run through the courts," Trump said. "No grandstanding, no ex-post, just legal muscle where it hits." Kash leaned in. "They'll say we're weaponizing intel." Trump didn't flinch. "They've thrown every accusation already. Might as well give them facts." Lena broke her silence, tone flat. "If this leaks, it'll dwarf Russiagate, like press school drama next to this." These memos hint at a setup, not just blunders. It was a performance. Bondi glanced up. "You want this out there?" "No." Trump shot back. "I want it legal. Yield it tight, quiet. Then take it to Congress, not the news, not the mix." Bondi didn't reply instantly. She sifted through the memos again. One snagged her. A 2016 FBI note, October 28, admitting the dossier's sources were unconfirmed, yet the Schiff crew deemed pace more vital than truth. She set it aside. "I'll take it on, but once this rolls, there's no dipping toes. You get that?" Trump gave a single nod. "That's why it's you." Outside, the breeze kicked up. Inside, silence stretched 30 seconds thick. Bondi grabbed her heels, stood, and met each gaze. "Let's hand them something untwistable." But Trump didn't yet grasp this wasn't mere courtroom chess. It was a spark dangling over fuel. Next morning, Bondi skipped her DC condo, booking a low-key room at a roadside inn in Jupiter, Florida. No press, no calls, not even her usual security shadows. She needed quiet and space. The folders sprawled across the bed. She perched cross-legged on the corner, laptop shut beside her. This wasn't about email threads or dates anymore. It was intent, patterns, the words people scribble when they think eyes won't ever land on them. The earliest file, mid-2016, was a memo between FBI bosses tagging the Steele dossier as unproven, tied to political foes. Another email nailed it. Christopher Steele got cash via Fusion GPS, linked straight to Clinton's camp. Bondi flagged it, tracking dates, names, signatures, piecing a path. Then came audio, tucked in digital records on a thumb drive cache had slid in. She hit play. Static fizzed. Then a voice, cool, practiced. Adam Schiff's. We don't need it airtight. We need it fast. The FRSA is due Monday. Bondi leaned back, replayed it. Then once more. No waver. No doubt. He was steering it. She grabbed a yellow pad, jotting a new list, claims clashing with his public lines. Schiff had spent years swearing to cameras collusion was solid, preaching certainty from Capitol Hill. Yet here he was, rushing surveillance on untested info. Cash had warned her. They'll brand you wild for even touching these, he'd said, though it's their ink on the page. She flipped to Fusion GPS threads, dozens of chats with senior campaign aides. One jumped out, weeks pre-election. We're routing the goods through a friendly intel pipe now. Should drop by Friday. Bondi read it twice. Friendly intel pipe, not a newsroom, not a pundit's desk intelligence. They'd spun campaign mud into a wiretap trigger. It was uglier than she'd guessed. The deeper she dug, the less it felt like sloppy errors, more like a blueprint, planned, cinced, staged. At the stack's base lay a folder tagged Operations Back Channel. Inside, one transcript, a snatched message from a Fusion GPS hired to a Clinton aide. Need this live before Sunday. Schiff says he'll handle the press end. Bondi shut it. Anger hadn't hit yet, just cold focus. Something fiercer than fury breathed in her stare. Determination. She dialed Cash. Tell Trump I've combed it all. He didn't probe what she'd found, just asked, how rough? Rough enough I won't stroll into a federal lobby without a lens swarm. You still in? There's no half in, she said. He sighed of a line. Then I'll rally our crew, but heads up, once you crack this, they'll gun for your license, your rep. Maybe more. Bondi eyed the back channel folder. I'm not here for my legacy, she replied. I'm here so this doesn't repeat. Cash paused, then said something rare for him. Good, cause you just turned into the headline. Bondi didn't waver. She started sketching legal briefs, not blog rants, not opinion pieces, charges, implications, constitutional punches, each tied to proof. She was carving history with a pen that could cost her bar card if she slipped. She glanced at the muted TV. An anchor lauded Schiff's steadfast honor. She let out a sharp, dry chuckle and killed the screen. Truth alone wasn't enough. Someone had to haul it through flames. 3 days later, the executive order dropped. No fanfare, no stage, just a stark White House site upload at 8:12 a.m., paired with a plain X post from the official handle. Henceforth, federal elections require citizenship proof. States defying this lose federal voting funds. By noon, the globe was ablaze. CNN ran a 5-hour block branding it fascist, authoritarian overkill. MSNBC hauled in 3 ex-DOJ voices to debate Bondi's disbarment odds. In Sacramento, California's A vowed a lawsuit before skimming the text. Bondi sat solo in a DC war room, ringed by files, notepads, and subpoena drafts primed to launch. She watched the ticker without blinking. She'd braced for this. What she hadn't clocked was how swift the gears would grind. Outlets ditched her ex-AG tag. Now she was Trump's vendetta pawn. Scholars dissected democratic decay. Some hinted her classified access breached security rules. None noted the docs were legally cleared. None tackled their guts. That afternoon, Schiff staged a presser. Cameras hummed before he hit the mic. His face was composed, voice tinged with rehearsed grief. This isn't openness, he said. It's an assault on our democracy. Trump's twisting declassified scraps to breed doubt, peddle conspiracies, and got our elections from the inside. He paused for effect. No cheers followed. And Pam Bondi, regrettably, has chosen to abet him. A reporter piped up, "Congressman, are you disputing the memo's authenticity?" "I'm saying context is key," Schiff dodged. "You can skew anything with selective cuts." Bondi didn't fire back with a statement or grab a mic. She rang Natalie Winters. Natalie wasn't a politico or attorney. She was a data hound scribe who'd long churned out prods big outlets dodged. She chased evidence, not claps. "You sure you're game?" Bondi asked. "I've been game for years," Natalie said. "This just seals it." That night, as pundits rehashed scripts, Natalie dropped a muted X thread. No flair, no tags, just raw Fusion GPS screenshots, time-stamped, named, trailed digitally. In hours, it clocked 10 million views. Blowback hit just as quick. By morning, a spliced clip spread, framing Natalie as inciting violence. She hadn't, but the edit sold it. Networks ran it hourly. Her face flooded feeds, threats piling up, texts, emails, digs under old college pieces. "Traitor, fascist, we know your address," Bondi called fast. "They're smearing you before you hit the stand." "Expected," Natalie said steady. "Means they're rattled." "They are," Bondi agreed. "You nailed it." Natalie paused. "Next move." "Now," Bondi said, "you're not just a writer. You're a witness. I'm pulling you in." Next morning, Bondi marched into her office, told her team to prep Natalie for committee grilling. They didn't hesitate. By dusk, protesters massed outside. Chants, placards, cameras. Inside, Bondi rescanned the files. Each page now pulsed like a live wire, each word a blade. It wasn't dread driving her. It was duty. She didn't ignite this, but she'd be damned if it got rewritten. She texted Natalie. "Brace yourself. They'll hurl it all. Just stand firm." Natalie shot back. "They tried. I'm still standing." Their fury didn't faze Bondi. It proved she'd struck gold. The hearing loomed a week off, but the tempest already felt on shore. Natalie Winters stepped off at Union Station. Black jeans, canvas jacket, beat-up leather pack. No posse, no glam squad, just 3 phones, a binder, and a swelling stash of hushed-up scoops from her undergrad days. Bondi's personal driver scooped her up. No fed plates, tinted glass. Natalie rode mute, eyeing the Capitol dome as it loomed. She wasn't daunted. She was strategizing. At Bondi's Georgetown crash pad, Kash Patel met her at the door, coffee in hand. She brushed it off. "Not here for snacks," she said, unzipping her bag. "Here to swing a sledge." Bondi met her in the hall. No show, just a knowing tilt of the head. "You know they'll double down once you're up there," Bondi said. "I'm counting on it," Natalie replied. Louder they scream, more ears perk up. They spent the day drilling. Bondi shaked her testimony. Natalie practiced parrying Schiff's predictable jabs. Muddle, derail, distort. Bondi flagged it. Natalie shrugged. "I've got 6 years of hard data," she said. "He's got 6 years ducking it." That night, Bondi flipped on the news. Sure enough, a legal crew was already pushing to nix Natalie's slot. One anchor citing an unnamed tip trashing her cred over ideological slant. Bondi's inbox brimmed with veiled jabs. Lawyers from 3 states warned of disbarment. A Harvard pros note hinted at criminal flirtation. She didn't bite, just printed them, filed them under shut-up attempts. Next evening, Natalie hit a national broadcast, billed as fair, but Bondi knew it was a trap. 3 panelists, 1 host, all primed to paint her as a loose cannon. The anchor grinned tight. "Natalie, obvious question. Why are Trump's crew airing secret gripes on live TV?" She didn't twitch, just leaned in, voice level. "When reality's this ugly, I see why you'd call it risky." The panel squirmed. "You're citing files not meant for daylight," one snapped. "You mean the ones proving Fusion GPS synced with a campaign to pump unbacked claims into Intel streams?" She fired back. Another jumped in. "This is textbook distraction. Like green-lighting for ISA warrants with Intel the FBI already debunked." she countered. Even the host faltered. But her quiet kill shot landed soft. One panelist hinted she jeopardized security. She didn't snap, just said, "Trust isn't handed out, it's built. If a lie's all your system's got, maybe the lie's the flaw." The room hushed, but the network snipped it short. By morning, hacked clips swirled online. One chopped her midline to fake a surveillance plug. Another stripped context, hinting she'd backed political chaos. She didn't blink. She was primed. Bondi rang that afternoon. "They're all in on the smear." "Then we're on track," Natalie said. "You worried?" "I'm laughing," Bondi said, cracking her first grin in days. "You're nuts." "No," Natalie said. "I'm a floodlight. They're the roaches." Bondi peered out the window, rain streaking the pane. "I want you right beside me when we walk in, not behind or later. Next to me." "Then buckle up," Natalie said, "'cause I'm not bringing a binder. I'm bringing proof." Instead of folding, Natalie picked up a blocked call and said yes. By the time Bondi and Winters hit the hearing room, every seat was taken. Press camped out pre-dawn. C-SPAN stream, buckled twice before 9 a.m. reporters, muttered into phones like they awaited a sentencing, not a session. Inside, it looked legit. Polished wood, flags at every chair, water bottles staged like set dressing. But Bondi saw through it. This was a show, not a process. Schiff had rigged it to bury her. He didn't know she came to unearth him. She sat steady, eyes forward. Natalie parked left, flipping notes, quiet but locked in. Her mere vibe already stirred the pot. The air felt coiled, waiting to snap. The chairman, once a guy who dubbed Bondi a partisan fossil, rapped his gavel. "This committee's in session." Schiff took first swing, voice smooth, words honed to slice clean. "Let it be noted, this isn't a platform for wild theories. Ms. Bondi's cherry-picked leaks and public stunts endanger national security and this body's honor." He pivoted slow, eyes tight. "This is Congress, not a Florida courtroom circus. We won't bow to MAGA attorneys and their media sidekicks." There it was. Bondi didn't stir. Schiff pressed on, volume climbing. "These crossfire papers are hand-picked and misframed. At best deceptive, at worst forged. The idea the FBI plotted against a candidate. It's not just wrong, it's reckless." He eased back, expecting claps. None hit. The chairman tipped a nod. "Your response, Ms. Bondi." She edged forward, voice low, measured. "Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let's tackle the congressman's context worry." Click. A screen flared behind her, flashing an FBI memo, October 2016. Steele dossier still unverified. She eyed Schiff. "Let it be noted, the court doc for surveilling U.S. citizen Carter Page was never confirmed by your own shop." Click. Audio rolled, scratchy but sharp, time-stamped, an FBI boss. "Yeah, the dossier is still trash, but Schiff's team says push it. Get the warrant greenlit." Gasps, real ones, rippled. A staffer's pen clattered. A back row whisper sounded like a plea. Schiff lunged forward. "Mr. Chairman, I object. That's ripped out of frame." Bondi clicked again. A second voice. "We've told Schiff's people this isn't vetted." Reply. "Doesn't need to be true. Needs to work." Silence. You could hear the room pray it was fake. Bondi turned slow to Schiff, voice steady. "Not cherry-picked, Congressman," quoted. The chairman tried cutting in. Nobody budged. He waited to run the full tape. It played, raw, unbroken, damning. Schiff's aides shrugging off legal flags, copping to outside sync. When it stopped, Schiff wasn't talking. His hands clamped the table like it held him up. Christopher Steele coughed, his accent hinting nerves. The dossier I assembled, he said, was raw data. Not meant as gospel, just a guide. Natalie tilted her head. "You mean campaign-funded fiction dressed up to justify federal snooping?" He gaped mute. Bondi rose a touch, clicking again. "Fusion GPS email. Subject. Need something to sink in pre-October. Body. Steele's on it. Steele deflated. Schiff stared blank, like the room dissolved. Bondi's tone cut sharper. Don't trust me. Just hear your own words, your own crew, your own files. But just as the blow seemed final, Bondi stood, hoisting one last exhibit. She paused, letting quiet do the work. The screens now showed a shaky phone video, grainy. The kind local news aides and folks ignore, till the stakes shift. She hit play. A SoCal community fair, a voter booth under blue tarp, balloons bobbing, a scrolled sign, no ID required, register here. The camera zoomed on the volunteer, chipper, casual, unfazed, off-screen voice, no citizenship proof. Volunteer grinned, nope. If you're local, that's enough. Video cut. Gasps hissed through like a draft under a shut door. Aides fidgeted. One congressman grumbled low. Bondi faced the panel, cool, firm. That's no rogue outfit. That's a state-backed, tax-funded gig pushing illegal sign-ups. She didn't pause or push back, flipping to the next doc. An email, California election official to campaign aid. Get the new arrivals enrolled by month's end. We need those figures for Q4. A fist pounded the table. Congressman Larry Menza, Schiff pal, near shouted. That's totally misframed. Bondi turned clinical. You want framing? Here's extra. She flashed another email. State strategy chief to team. Gen Z's a wild card. Lock in the immigrant tally fast. Now the room's air shifted. Not loud, not messy, just taut. The public didn't ditch the system, she said. You swapped it out from under them, then shamed them for spotting it. At least 4 Dems bolted. No words, just dress shoes scuffing marble as they bailed. Bondi rolled on. You fling borders wide, then ballots, and anyone who asks, you slap fascists on them. She didn't yell. The hush carried the weight. This isn't voter outreach. It's voter washing. Not kindness, collusion. She dropped her last slide. Memo titled Ballot Strategy. Urban influx, yellow highlight. Strategic demographic assets. Phones hummed in pockets. Reporters typed low. A gallery voice hissed, "Oh my God." Bondi returned to her seat, sat. Then Natalie rose, unscheduled, but unchallenged. I've spent years hearing my work's dangerous, she said. That truth rips institutions apart. But if lies are their glue, maybe they should crack. She faced Schiff, pale, drained, eyes down. He didn't bite. The chairman leaned in, throat cleared, reading slow, like the script ball bricks. Per testimony and evidence here, Congressman Adam Schiff is referred to DOJ for criminal probe, false statements to feds and misuse of congressional power. No gasps now, just legal fallout seeping into the walls like fog. He pressed on. Christopher Steele willfully peddled unverified claims as alleged intel, declared persona non grata. Expulsion request filed. Steele sat blank, lost. Then the third hit. Per payment logs, emails, and coordination exposed. Hillary Clinton must face a federal campaign fraud inquiry. Fusion GP's accounts freeze pending audit. A phone clunked in the gallery. Its echo rang. And it wasn't just people, the chairman kept going. Federal funds are cut from states breaching constitutional election rules, including, but not limited to, California, New Jersey, Illinois. Outside, a crowd glued to jumbo screens cheered. Not manic, not rally style, but like folks exhaling years of weight, a held breath freed. Inside, Bondi stayed mum, Natalie too. They didn't need words. This wasn't a win, it was a dissection, a heads up. That night, DC streets weren't wild or noisy, just intent. Knots of people huddled in the chill, replaying clips on phones. Some teared up, some went mute, but most wore the same face. A burden they hauled for years now named. Bondi stood behind a curtain, peering through a slim gap at the throng. It wasn't about Trump or her. It was the heft of someone finally voicing it. You were deceived. She turned, strode past tapping reporters. passed a team on cold brew and grit toward the stage. Trump had spoken, rarely brief, no zingers, no snark, just. They didn't come to grab power. They came to yank truth off the ventilator. Now Bondi's turn. She hit the podium. No files, no pile, just her voice in a room finally tuned in. I've been pitched plenty lately. She started. Cabinet gigs, committee seats, offers. She paused, not for drama, but to reap the words. But I'm not here to steer power. I'm here to show folks how to fight it. The crowd didn't surge. They stood, some hands on chests, others heads dipped. We were told to bank on institutions, she said, to trust the game. But what's the move when the game's fixed before you step up? She didn't scowl. She looked weary, but solid. You don't patch that with new rules. You forge sharper citizens, demand truth like it's air. 'Cause it is. She stepped off. The claps weren't thunderous, real, steady, earned. Natalie took the mic. No script, no prompter. If journalism's meant to call out power, she said, what's left when power owns every line you run? She scanned the crowd. They told me to zip it, called me a threat, tried to trash my name. But I don't care what they pin on me now. I care what you buy, what your kids grow up thinking standard. A beat. If truth's my crime, then fine. She hoisted her binder, high for the lenses. That's why I'm starting Truthwire Media. No corporate cash. No editorial chokeholds. No gag. Just facts and folks who wield them. Bondi stepped back up. I'm kicking off Liberty PAC. Not to stack more politicians. We've seen their mold. This is for citizens. School board scraps. Courtroom clashes. Nights the system wants you mute, and you won't bend. The sun dipped behind them. Someone passed Natalie a flag. She didn't flap it, just gripped it. Bondi gave the crowd a final sweep. This isn't a rebound, not payback. It's a reset. And it's not done. Her voice eased. I don't want your cash. I want your eyes, your spine. The next scrap won't be in court. It'll be every block, every classroom, every ballot, every chat you're scared to start. She backed off. The screen faded black, then lit with one line. When truth turns rebel, speaking it sparks the revolt. The crowd held still, like something holy had landed. And maybe it had. If you think truth's worth guarding, even when it stings, subscribe now, 'cause the next page isn't theirs to write. It's yours.